Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Thursday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini, and today's report includes more Steelers wide receiver options are now available. The Steelers are not interested in these two free agent quarterbacks. The Pittsburgh Penguins make a pair of trades with more probably coming, and more. As always, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into the first news story of the day. More Steelers wide receiver options are now available. On Tuesday, the New York Jets released wide receiver Davante Adams, giving the Steelers a new free agent target. Not too long after all of us could finish comprehending Adams possibly coming to Pittsburgh, three more options hit the market in quick succession. The first of the new options is 28-year-old wide receiver Christian Kirk, who has been released by the Jacksonville Jaguars. In 2024, Kirk had his season cut short with a broken collarbone, and in only 8 games played, he made 27 catches for 379 yards and a touchdown. The second new option, who is also getting cut from his team, is 32-year-old wide receiver Tyler Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks. Lockett last year was Mr. Durability again, playing all 17 games, but had a decline in production, catching just 49 balls for an even 600 yards and 2 touchdowns. Lockett isn't the only one from Seattle who could be on the Steelers' radar, as his Seahawks teammate and option number 3 in 27-year-old wide receiver DK Metcalf has requested a trade. After making 66 catches and nearly having another 1,000-yard campaign with 5 touchdowns in 15 games last season, Metcalf wants to go to a contender, and whether you think the Steelers are a contender or not is up to you. These 3 now becoming available are just a part of what was an insane day of movement in the NFL yesterday. Now that they are officially on the market, let's take a look at all the receivers who have been, or at least should be linked to the Steelers right now. DK Metcalf, Davante Adams, Cooper Kupp, Christian Kirk, Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett, Darius Slayton, Keenan Allen, Brandon Ayuk, and anyone else with a pulse. If we really want to narrow it down, I think the only 3 on that list who could realistically become Steelers are Kirk for a bargain, Slayton at a doable price, and maybe Godwin if teams are scared by his ankle injury. Everyone else would be a long shot. Metcalf will cost a lot. Adams wants to go back to the West Coast. Kupp I don't think would want to come here. Diggs is a diva coming off a torn ACL. Lockett is over the hill and will probably join his former head coach Pete Carroll in Las Vegas. Hey y'all, sign Russell Wilson and get the band back together. Allen I'm unsure about, and Ayuk, we aren't playing with you anymore. Which of these wide receiver options would you like the Steelers to take a swing at? Surely they'll pick up at least one of them, right? Let me know in the comments below. The Steelers are not interested in these 2 free agent quarterbacks. Earlier this week, ESPN senior NFL insider Adam Schefter said that the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking to lock up one of Justin Fields or Russell Wilson before free agency begins. By the sounds of that, the Steelers are fully committed to one of those 2 being the starting quarterback in 2025, and all but confirms this. In a recent article from Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Steelers writer Jerry Dulac, the Black and Gold are not interested in signing either Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins. Both aging QBs had significantly bad seasons last year, and if you ask me, are on the doorstep of retirement. This entire offseason, Steelers Nation has been hoping that the choice would be the younger Fields, but we all know in the back of our minds that the possibility of Rodgers loomed, with head coach Mike Tomlin having some sort of adoration for old Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. On the other hand, 2 players who are actually likely to be signed by the Steelers once free agency begins is recently cut San Francisco 49ers defensive tackle and former Steeler Javon Hargrave and Las Vegas Raiders corner Nate Hobbs. I think Hargrave would be a welcome reunion for the Black and Gold, as they have struggled to find a great defensive tackle since he left, and Hobbs would be a nice young addition to the Steelers secondary with ties to new Steelers defensive backs coach Gerald Alexander. Back to quarterback here, let's hope that a Fields deal can get done soon so that we can definitively put the nightmare scenario of Rodgers coming to Pittsburgh behind us. A Steelers cut candidate has decided to stay with the team. It's cut season in the NFL right now, with free agency right around the corner, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have themselves a handful of players who could be released. But now, one of those potential cut candidates has decided to remain in Pittsburgh. News came down this morning from NFL insider Tom Pelissero that the Steelers and linebacker Cole Holcomb agreed to a revised contract, clearing up $4 million in salary cap space. Holcomb was set to make $6 million this upcoming season, but now takes a pay cut to stay with the team. The 28-year-old missed the entire 2024 season after suffering a hard-to-watch knee injury in November of 2023. However, Steelers general manager Omar Khan said at the scouting combine this past week that Holcomb would have had a chance to get back on the field if the Steelers had gone deeper in the playoffs. Pelissero added that Pittsburgh values his leadership and that the plan is for him to play in 2025, possibly from the season's start. A healthy Holcomb joining Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson, and maybe a Landon Roberts if he is re-signed in free agency, will give the Steelers one hell of a foursome at middle linebacker. Welcome back to the Berg, Cole Holcomb. The Pittsburgh Penguins make a pair of trades with more probably coming. I said yesterday that the next 48 hours in the NHL before the trade deadline were going to be head-spinning, and I couldn't have been righter with the Pittsburgh Penguins in the middle of it. Last night, the Penguins and general manager Kyle Dubas made a pair of trades, one that nobody saw coming. Beginning with the first and smaller of the two deals, the Penguins traded defenseman Vincent Desharnais to the San Jose Sharks in exchange for a 2028 fifth-round draft pick. Desharnais only played in 10 games for the Pens, recording no points and a -4 rating after he was acquired in the Marcus Pettersson trade from the Vancouver Canucks a little while back. This will be one of the smaller trades made this deadline, but hey, you get $2 million off the books and pick up a mid-round draft pick in 2028. I give that trade a B-. About half an hour later, the Penguins made a second trade, and a bit of a shocker, sending forward Michael Bunting and a 2026 fourth-round draft pick to the Nashville Predators in exchange for forward Tommy Novak and defenseman Luke Schenn. Let's start with what the Pens gave up. I couldn't care less about the fourth-round pick. I'm just a little stunned that Dubas offloaded Bunting. Before getting put on long-term injured reserve with appendicitis last week, Bunting was nearly a 30-point scorer this season, and the Penguins now lose a team guy who brought effort and snarl every night. However, I believe Bunting was traded because he enters the final year of his $4.5 million contract next season, and the rebuilding Penguins were not going to keep him around. You quickly became one of my favorites, and I and many others will miss you, but best of luck in Nashville, Michael Bunting. Now looking at the return, forward Tommy Novak intrigues me. The 27-year-old and 6'1" versatile center has 13 goals and 9 assists in 52 games played this year, but is coming off a career-high 45-point season last year. Novak is signed for 2 more years at a $3.5 million AAV, and I wonder if head coach Mike Sullivan puts him on a line with the Pens' other 2 former Preds in Cody Glass and Philip Tomasino. The second player coming to Pittsburgh is 35-year-old defenseman Luke Schenn. As of right now, Schenn will be a third-pair right-shot defenseman behind Erik Karlsson and Chris Letang. With only 5 points in 61 games this year, you may look at him as another Vincent Desharnais, but he is way more defensively reliable. Schenn is signed through next season at $2.75 million, but I think he could be moved again before the 3 p.m. deadline tomorrow. So looking at this deal in its entirety, the Penguins traded a mid-round pick and a 29-year-old forward for a younger, cheaper, and potentially better forward and a veteran defenseman who could be used as trade bait. I give this trade a B, and welcome to Pittsburgh Tommy Novak and Luke Schenn. Talking about the 2 trades, Dubas said, "We like Tommy's ability to control play, generate scoring chances for himself and others, and produce at even strength. He has been on our priority list for a few years now here, and we feel his mobility, playmaking, and production as a center provides us a great option in the years ahead. We moved Vinny to San Jose in lockstep with the Nashville trade because we feel that having Luke's defensive play, character, leadership, toughness, and spirit is something we need here to help push our program through this phase. We believe the way he plays and the way he carries himself each day will be very well received by Penguins fans and the city of Pittsburgh. I wouldn't say that Bunce didn't fit into our plans. As we know, I've got a long relationship with Bunce and think the world of him as a person and player. In the end, Bunce was obviously central to Nashville doing this deal, and those are the difficult decisions you have to make in this chair. Regardless of personal feelings, we have to always do what's in the best interest of the Pittsburgh Penguins. After all that, I'll once again say to buckle up, everyone. The Penguins may still have more and possibly bigger trades to come before the deadline tomorrow. And finally, is this Pirate finally going to break out into superstardom? MLB spring training is a time in which optimism and hope is born, and that is all that I am feeling with this Pirates player. After being transitioned from shortstop to center field late last year, I have a feeling that Pittsburgh Pirates center fielder O'Neal Cruz is poised to have his best year yet. So far this spring, he has passed the eye test of looking like a natural center fielder, and now it looks like his bat has shaken off all the cobwebs from the offseason. Yesterday afternoon, against the Toronto Blue Jays, Cruz made 3 at-bats, drawing 2 walks and a stolen base, also crushing a no-doubt 3-run homer to right center field. I think it's clear that Cruz's move to center field has freed up his mind a bit, and he can focus more on batting without the pressure of being a shortstop. Call me crazy or say that I'm overreacting, but if Cruz can take a little bit of this into the regular season, I don't see any way why he couldn't win a Gold Glove in center and be a 30-30 home run and stolen base player as well. Let's see if he can repeat that performance if he is in the lineup tonight against the Baltimore Orioles at 6 p.m., where it will once again be a happy Skeens Day for all of us who celebrate. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up a Thursday edition of the Steel City Sports Report. Again, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow with some more Pittsburgh sports news.